Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well. Today as we come to our word from the word. And today that word is radiant. Radiant. Now if you think about just the way I remember back in school, had the radiant heaters, right? The radiators, oh man, those things, those oil radiators next to, you're either sitting next to them, you're either burning up, or if you sat to the other side of the room, you're freezing. But even that, and a lot of times we think about radiant, we think about light, and we think about how it shines. And isn't that true, both of those, with God? Right? The closer we are, the more, right, we're on fire for God. The more we're hot for what He wants us to be focused on and what He wants us to be excited about. And the further we get away from Him, the colder we are. And then even as we look to His great glorious light and the light that He shines on the world, and even as the psalmist here in Psalm 48 today, even just thinking about the elevation of Him and His holy mountain of Zion lifted up. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in the future, right? The new Jerusalem, new heaven, new earth, what all of that is going to look like. Think about what is being able to witness His glory there in the temple. Think about being able to witness Jesus Christ in person. But see, we still have the Holy Spirit of God within us today. We don't have to wonder about that. We can experience that. And it's the same way that radiance, right? That radiant, like that radiant heat, the closer we are with God, the more on fire we'll be for God. But let's look at Psalm 48 today. Just the first three verses today. It says, "Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, in the city of our God, in His holy mountain. Beautiful in elevation, the joy of the whole earth, is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great King. God is in her palaces. He is known as her refuge." Man, beautiful in elevation, the way He's lifted up. And even just to think about, it's so much imagery in the Psalms and so many different applications that you say, oh, well, this is what they were writing about. But man, we can see even now what it's really talking about. Great is God, and hey, He is greatly to be praised. When's the last time you really just sang praises to Him? Right? The Psalms are prayers or songs that were spoken. They were read, they were sung, they could have been solos, duets, a little mini choir, a whole choir, or the whole congregation coming together to sing praises to the Lord. To see, if God's people, if you and I, right, as believers, if we would come together, truly come together, and start being the church as God has designed us, then look at the way that we would radiate to others. That same radiance that we see with God and we see with God's people, that would be with us. See, I mean, that's the whole point, right? In the Old Testament, the whole point was that Israel was set apart to be the shining example of what it was like to have one God. All these other had their little g gods, and that they were doing all these things that went against God's law. And Israel was the one they were supposed to, God's chosen people were supposed to be living in such a way that worshiped God and pointed other people to God. And there was times where they radiated exactly like they were supposed to. The same way that the early church radiated like it was supposed to. But time after time, many churches, many believers, right? Maybe when we were first got saved, we were radiating like we were supposed to. But now we've grown a little dim. And I don't mean we've lost intelligence. I mean that our light, God's light through us that can still shine, we've kind of put it in the corner. We've hidden it. As He says, nobody puts it under a bushel, right? You don't put it under a bushel. Don't put it under a lampshade and hide it. No, you put it out for light everywhere to be seen. Today, I wonder, are you letting God's light shine through you today? Are you close enough to Him to be on fire for Him? And at the end of the day, are we giving off His love to any others? Are we radiating that heat and radiating that joy and God's love and mercy and the news of salvation? Are we radiating that to a lost and dying world? I pray that today you'll be a radiant Christian. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.